So I love crypto passive income, and one of my favorite sources of crypto passive income is crypto nodes. But many crypto nodes are kind of expensive. So in this video, I have 8 different crypto nodes that are to varying degrees more affordable than lots of the other ones out there. So let's jump right into them. First up, Presearch, one of my original node loves here on the channel. For those that don't know what Presearch is, it's a decentralized search engine, and this entire search engine is powered by people who are running nodes. So these are real nodes with real hardware that power this search engine. They've got a bunch of cool features. It's a great product that's already functioning. But the best part is, right now, you need 4,000 Presearch tokens to run a node, which, as you can see right there, is only $161. So that is extremely inexpensive. Right now, this is going to be the cheapest node I cover on this list. And so what do you get for that $161 node? Well, right now my nodes are making between 2 to 4 Presearch per day, roughly. So let's just split the middle there, and let's say, well, I think I have a couple that are making closer to 4. So let's say 3.5. So that's 14 cents a day times 30. So that means one node, $161 node, is making you $4.20. And so on the surface, that might not sound very exciting, but keep in mind that right now Presearch is ranked at 1,017 on the crypto charts. It's only a $16 million market cap. So I think it's severely underpriced. Its all-time high price is 81 cents. It's down 95% from its all-time high price. They have a real product with a real team operating real nodes. So there's a lot of substance here, which is why I personally think it's underpriced. You might have a different opinion. But, let's say you make 3.5 Presearch a day times 30. So you're going to be making 105 Presearch a month. Then let's say it does go back to its old all-time high. So that would be 81 cents. So that means these nodes would be making $85 a month at that point. Of course, I'm hoping it goes higher than that, but we will see. But either way, getting in now could be getting in early. And the really cool thing is, I'm a huge fan of Node Orbit. This is where I host all of my crypto nodes. And let's scroll down here to the pricing. Presearch node hosting is only $2 per node. So it actually is profitable. You're going to make a little over $2 a month with each node. But of course, what's cool about Presearch is 4,000 Presearch is the minimum that you can put on a node. But you could, of course, put more than that and make more Presearch per month. So, if you're going to, let's look at 10,000. I mean, that's still only $400. So let's say you put $500 into a Presearch node. That's 12,400 Presearch. You stake that on a single node. You're going to make somewhere between maybe 10 to 12 Presearch a day, or maybe a little bit less than that. And, at $2 per month per node of hosting, it's pretty inexpensive. So Presearch is one that I like a lot. It's been around for a while now, and the nodes are extremely inexpensive. But I also love these nodes because I think they're just a great way for anybody to try running nodes, to figure out the process. It's a pretty easy one to work your way into. Again, $160, very cheap. Or if you have a computer at your house, a spare computer, you can run one of these for free effectively at your house for just the cost of electricity for the computer. And if you have a little mini computer, it might only cost you $1 a month or 50 cents a month, depending on what your electric rate is. So these are really a great place to start for a lot of people who are just interested in crypto nodes. Of course, even though this one has been around the longest and I do like it and I have a big sizable position in my portfolio of Presearch, it's not without risk. It could never get back to its old all-time high. That is a real possibility. I think it will. And I'm hoping it will, but it might not. So you just have to research it, research your Presearch, and decide if you think it actually has a future or not. Okay, moving on. So Streamer is also one I've been in for a little while now, at least over a year. Streamer is all about data, and their token is, the ticker symbol is data. And the entire model for the company is that, you know, other companies or entities or people will want access to their data network, and then you can buy your way into it. But right now they are, you can earn with the project by running a streamer node. And you can see right here at the top, it says streamer 1.0 testnet. Incentives end in 9 days. They've currently transitioned from their old node model to a new node model. And I'll probably do a video on exactly what all that entails in the future. But what you need to know, you no longer, unless you really want to become an operator yourself, which that will require 5,000 streamer minimum, which is 240 bucks. So again, a very inexpensive node right now. But unless you want to become an operator yourself and run the node, you can actually run a node for free, basically, without any hosting cost, because you can go here to their Network Explorer or their Node Explorer and click on Operators, and then you can see these are all people who are operating nodes. And what you can do, and if we scroll down, we'll see one here called Sleep Money Club. And what you can do is you can actually, if I had my wallet connected and I had streamer in it, data in it, I could delegate to this node. So in this case, this is my node for my community Sleep Money Club. So anyway, I'm running this. I have my node, my actual nodes running with Node Orbit. I have 2 of them, one for redundancy, the second one for redundancy. I have staked my data tokens on this, and then now members of Sleep Money Club are also delegating to this node. But you don't have to be a member of Sleep Money Club to delegate to this node. You can do it right now if you wanted to, if you have data tokens. The reason you might want to, if you click on the About operator, it says right here that our members will get fee distributions plus other perks. So with these, the new way that they're doing nodes, a node owner who's actually running it takes a cut. So in my case, it's 10%. And I'm going to be distributing some of this back to the community after our costs and stuff are covered. So it'd be like a nice little dividend bonus for people who are actually members of the club. Plus, we're going to do some other perks in the meantime. But as you can see, the APY on this is 53% yearly. So that is pretty cool to see this node being so, you know, with such a high return. So I like the streamer project a lot. I've been with this one for at least a year now, and I really think this whole new model they're going with is pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, if you scroll down, we're down here just outside of the top 10. We're adding more data tokens all the time. But that one, if you wanted to launch your own node, it's as little as 5,000 data, or $240. But if you delegate to a node, you can do with as little as 1 data. So let's say you only had 500 data, which costs $24. You could delegate that to our node and earn 53% per year. And again, streamer, like pre-search, is also pretty small. It's ranked 658 on the crypto charts. So this one also has a lot of headroom for growth in the future, which is very exciting. Coming up next is Crank. So if you are somebody who, like me, got all wrapped up in the helium hotspot hype of the last bull run, and then maybe you got in a little bit later than you should have, and you have a helium hotspot that never broke even or was just limping its way across the finish line, or right now it's just you're either not running it, or if you are running it, it's just not making you a ton of money a month. Well, Crank is here for you. So Crank can run on existing helium hotspot hardware, and you can actually dual mine. I mean, this is one that I'm calling a node because it's real hardware that earns you the token. But people call it a miner, but it's not really mining. It's not actually putting in the proof of work aspect. So it's kind of a hybrid, but I'm just going to call it a node for the sake of this video because it's inexpensive. It's 250 bucks for the license and the required tokens. So if you already have hardware, then it's even, then that's all the money you have to spend, which is really cool. But anyway, you can actually dual earn. You can earn helium and the crank token on the same device. So this is a great way, you have the hardware already, to start making more money with it immediately. And right now I'm making about $25 worth of crank tokens a month with my device. So that's super cool. And again, it costs about $250 to get this started if you already have the hardware. It's built on Cadena, so you're going to need I think it's $150 worth of Cadena, and then you need $100 worth of the crank token to get your node up and running. So this one is super cool. They're doing some of the same things that Helium originally set out to do, but they're doing a bunch of different stuff too. But I mean, it's a low power radio network. This is a low power radio hotspot or node. And they are doing some IoT with this whole proof of network participation idea. So this is one that launched during the bear market. So it hasn't had its time to shine in the bull market spotlight yet. It's not even on CoinGecko. So that's how early this one is. So I think this one's very interesting going into the next bull run, especially because you can earn both Helium and crank with the same thing and boost your earnings. So I'm a big fan of this one. Moving on. Now we're getting into one of the ones that I would classify as very high risk. I have already talked about ETC-MC on my channel. ETC-MC is pretty simple to explain. You either buy one of their plug and play nodes, which are in stock again on their website, or you do a DIY one where you buy this license for $300 and then you run it on your own hardware. And when you run this node software on your hardware device, you get rewarded with ETC proof of work tokens, which is a token built on the ETC network, Ethereum Classic Network. And right now, a single node earns about 8.416 ETC proof of work a day, or $6.40 a day. So we go out for a full month and you'll see that's just under $200 a month right now. So this one has dropped considerably since I first started talking about it. It's actually down almost 12% today. The chart, this is why I'm saying it's risky. The chart's fairly rough looking. However, it did bounce and it is kind of going sideways right now. It might continue to tank and dump, or it might go back up if we get into, some of the hype cycle for the next year. I have no idea what this one's going to do next. All I know is that I've been running mine for a few months and I am only $150 away from breaking even on my investment into these. I'm running 7 of them, but they have reduced the rewards considerably to make it, more sustainable. Certain languages they use, the rewards cuts, the fact that these pay out so high and they don't get reduced with more nodes running, that's only reduced when people vote on reducing them. It does give me a little bit of like the fake node vibes of the last bull run, and give me some of the Ponzi-nomic vibes. But, I will happily stand to be corrected and be wrong on that front. Lots of people have made a lot of money with this one. Again, I'm about to break even, and then it's all going to be a profit for me going forward. I don't know what the future of this one is going to look like, but I do know it's cheap. I personally bought a couple of little mini PCs during Amazon Black Friday sale for like $105 or $110 each. But you could probably hop on eBay and find one that fits the bill for just over $100. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabyte SSD, 4-core, 4-thread CPU, Windows 10, Windows 11. And, if you're a member of Sleep Money Club, we actually have a few ways we can maybe get away with a little less than that. But, I'll let you, if you join, you can discover that on your own. High risk, but potentially high reward if it continues into the future, but I have no idea if it will. So, if you don't like the idea of spending $300 on a node license and watching that $300 vanish into the ether to never see it again, don't do this one. Moving on. Of course, I can't do a list about nodes, especially inexpensive ones, without talking about Flux, which is up almost 7% today. This one, Flux has been doing really well in the past month or so. Slowly working its way back up, and the smallest Flux node requires 1,000 Flux coins, so it'll be $660 today. based on this current price. For those who don't know, which I imagine if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know what Flux is. I've been in Flux forever, and it's my second biggest holding. But Flux they want to be a decentralized Amazon Web Services. They want to host all your apps and dApps and websites and stuff like that on their network of nodes, but they also want to do compute, AI, video rendering, whatever, any kind of compute jobs you want to throw to the nodes. So the nodes that when you run them, they actually do have pretty hefty requirements. They require pretty powerful CPUs and a lot of RAM and a lot of stuff like that. So I mention Flux with an asterisk because right now a Flux Cumulus node, which is the smallest Flux node, which costs $660, will earn you about 14 Flux a month, or $9.35 a month. However, go back to Node Orbit, which is one of the cheaper places to host your Flux node. You can see that it costs $11 a month to host it. So technically speaking, you will be losing money on your Flux node every month right now, unless you host it at home or unless you find somewhere else that's even cheaper. But I really caution you against going too cheap because you might not meet the requirements or it might not have the uptime and you'll get flagged and you'll lose rewards. So Node Orbit is one of the cheapest ones I know of that I actually like and recommend. So the play here might be, if you were interested in Flux and the future of Flux, is to get enough for a Flux node, and then instead of spending $11 per month on hosting right away, instead spend that amount on buying more Flux and dollar cost averaging. And then the moment it makes sense to be profitable, then you turn on your node hosting and actually start earning on top of that. So that might be one way to play it. Or you can just do what I did. So back in 2019 and 2020, my first full year of running Flux nodes when they first launched, I was running all my nodes at a slight loss. And I was just doing that because I didn't want to think about dollar cost averaging. I didn't want to think about accumulating Flux. I just wanted to accumulate it without thinking in the background. And I was okay losing a couple dollars a month, technically. And boy, did I make up for that, because when the bull run came around, those same nodes retroactively had actually been making like 10 to 20 grand a month. So, you know, it depends on what your outlook is on this one. I'm obviously very bullish on Flux. I think they have a very bright future. I'm a big fan of the project. I run a bunch of their nodes, the big ones. So it all depends on how you view current, but I think this might be one you want to consider having enough for a node in the future once we get into another bull run, especially because old all-time high is $3.33, and I'm hoping we bust right through that in the next bull run, which would make these nodes very, very profitable. But of course, your mileage may vary. Things might not go the way Andy thinks they will, and you should definitely think about what decision is best for you when it comes to something like this. Okay. Let's move on. GeodeNet is next. I've mentioned this one a few times on my channel. To give you a quick summary, it's like Crank in that you run, or Helium, in that you run a kind of hotspot device. I mean, people call it a miner, but again, it's not really actually mining. It's just providing a service to the network, and you get rewarded in tokens for providing that service, which is kind of like a node. Basically, you run this little device, this GeodeNet device that connects to an outdoor antenna. It looks like a flying saucer, and they call this a space weather station, but what it's really doing is it's picking up GPS signals, and it's helping create data that makes really accurate, trying to create really accurate GPS data for people to use and buy and businesses to use, etc. So it's kind of a really unique one on this entire list. This is like a few of these. This is definitely a DPIN crypto. Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. You're running the decentralized network for them, and you get paid an incentive to do that. This one is $700, and when this video is out, I will put links to all these things in the description. I meant to do that already, but I will do that when I'm done streaming. And I do have discount codes for a lot of these. Anyway, you run these devices, you earn the Geode token, and for a while, I can't remember what off the top of my head what I'm making right now, but for a while it was making between $40 to $50 a month in Geode tokens. So it's been pretty profitable, but it's so small. It's ranked at 1,205 on the crypto charts. Let's be conservative here, and let's say it's making you $15 a day or something, or let's say it's even making you just $100 a month, and this thing moves up the charts. You know, that 100 could easily be 1,000. 10x for something that's ranked at 1,205 is very easy. It could go the other direction. It could never take off. But they have some really cool tech, and they're doing some really cool things with their company. So this one is worth considering, especially with a sub $1,000 price tag on a node. Moving on to the next one. Wow, this one is up 21% today. Next up is NetSys. And let me go ahead and caveat this one right away and say that by far, there is, without exception, this is the riskiest one on this list by a long shot. It's very new. They don't have very much to speak of in terms of what they've built yet. So this is one that I'm interested in just because I like being really early into plays like this that are masternode projects that are also proof of work. But make no mistake, this one is already down. It made its all-time high 7 days ago, and it's down 80% in 7 days. So incredibly volatile, at least in the past 24 hours. This dip down here looked like it was going to keep dumping and stuff, and then it went sideways, and now it's up a bit. That might not continue. This one might go down to 0. I don't know. But one node requires 10,000 net coins, which when I made the title for this and when I was preparing for this video, that was $1,500. But now it's 2271. But the big thing here is it earns, basically you earn that much back in a single month because there are only 147 masternodes online right now. So it's really early and really small. But again, let me give you the full caveats here. They have a lot of interesting things that they're saying. They want to do all this the security stuff, build all these things around, you know, their net technology and cybersecurity and what have you. But they haven't done any of that yet. I covered a project called BlockX a month or two ago, and that one was maybe a little bit later than this one in its early stages, but that one was also pretty high risk. But they are actually building the things they've been promising, so that's good. But NetSys has not done that yet. So you're going to get into this one if $2,200 is no big deal for you to lose tomorrow, because again, you could lose it tomorrow. The upside to this is that it's very, very small, so you could 10x or 100x, but again, you could also go to 0. So I bought my node for about $1,500 or $1,600, something like that, which I'm okay watching that go to 0. I will not lose one wink of sleep at night. If you will stay awake at night with any of these after losing the amount of money you invest into it, please do not get into any of these. Do not get into anything just because I'm talking about it. Only get into something like this because you think if some things with it do work out, or if it does pump and you can make money, then that risk is worth it. But if you can't stomach the risk itself and the loss, not worth the upside, because it's all potential. It doesn't exist yet. So that is NetSys. This is one that I found through Sleep Money Club. A bunch of our members got interested into NetSys, and our members are actually running shared nodes. So if you like this, but you don't want to potentially, invest 2,200, you could invest a fourth of that or a fifth of that. I'm not actually sure what share size they're doing. They might actually be doing 1,000 size shares. So that's $227. I can't honestly remember off the top of my head. But then, if you buy into 1/10 of a node, well, then your potential loss is only $227, which is much more palatable. And that's something we do with our members of Sleep Money Club. There's several of the ones on this list that are shared nodes in the club, including the next one I'm going to cover, which is the most expensive one on this list. But it's also one I'm incredibly bullish about, and it's one of my top 5 positions, which is Neoxa. For those who don't know what Neoxa is, it is a crypto gaming play. Instead of building games and releasing crypto games, they want to enable existing games with crypto. So they're doing play to earn and they have nodes and other things, and they have assets for games on the blockchain. But in terms of games, they've got Rust, Dota 2, and Fortnite, and Minecraft, and Grand Theft Auto. I'm not sure why that's not on this games page. It must just be in the gaming portal only. Or maybe it's on the homepage. I just need to scroll down more. 5M is GTA 5? Got it. Dota 2, Fortnite. So, Neoxa requires 1 million Neoxa, which, easy math, is $3,500. Again, this is one that you could do a shared node if you're a member of Sleep Money Club. If $3,500 is too much, also keep in mind this one's ranked at 1,000. So again, they've been around for over a year now. So I feel, in my take, not advice to you, but I personally feel that this one is less risky than the previous one I covered because it's been around for a while and they're building things. And they've actually delivered on a lot of the promises that they originally set out to do. So I'm running 13 of these nodes, but I still think relatively cheap. $3,500 for a single node is still relatively cheap, especially because it makes just a bit under $200 a month right now. So it's pretty profitable. Still, it's pretty inexpensive to get into. And if you join like Sleep Money Club, which I just put a link in the chat, there'll be a link in the description for it. You can buy into a fraction of a Neoxa node. Now that's a bunch of different nodes that I think are cheaper and more affordable right now, but what if you want even more? Well, watch this video to see 4 crypto devices that are both really cheap, but also earn quite a bit every month right now. See you in the next one. Goodbye.